Good evening. This is Lars for the End of the Laws We Know It blog, and sort of as I mentioned on the blog last week, we've got a good idea for a couple of good videos that are sort of slightly secret. I know I've probably mentioned this to a couple of people. I might even have mentioned it on the Facebook page. I can't actually remember. Anyway, so while I'm just installing the rest of my webcam software so I can record with two cameras at the moment, that way we can sort of record the build along a little bit better, I'm just going to introduce what is going to be going on over the next couple of videos. Thank you very much. Well, that's already gone boing because one of them wasn't recording, so there we go. Right, so let's see what arrived in the post this morning. Box. And inside the box, we're going to do a bit of an unwrapping video. We have the parts for, you can't see that on that camera, the RepRap Huxley. The RepRap Huxley is a 3D printer, and it produces 3D printed plastic parts. Now already I've got about 1,000,001 ideas of things to make on this thing. Here's an example of a gear, and basically what happens is it takes plastic in the form of wire filament and extrudes it out through a small nozzle, similar to an inkjet printer, to produce plastic parts like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the box and just gradually unpack it. I do actually have a list of parts, so we're going to check those off as we go. Okay, so here we have the parts list. It's actually upside down for me because my camera up here is upside down. So yeah, that's maybe the first thing I could fix on that. So you have to excuse me if it's all upside down in the view. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the box, just tick off what we've got. So let me just grab a pen and we'll continue. Right, got some music going, hopefully that won't be too distracting on the video. So, right, first off we've got postage stuff, I'm going to throw that away. We have Arctic White PLA filament. So this is a plastic, I believe it's cornstarch based. Tick that off on the list. And this is a few hundred grams, well, 100 metres of filament, which is basically to print all the test pieces and get started with. So let's put that on the pile. Let's see, we have all the parts. So, where are we? Hardware, electronics, hot-end, wire, printed parts, 1 cent per kit, bag size large, tick. Cool, okay, and so this is the first time I've actually held a 3D printed part, and I'm actually quite impressed with the the rigidity of them. I've always had like sort of the misconception that maybe PLA is a bit sort of weak because it's sort of a biodegradable plastic, but I'm quite impressed by that. I don't know if you can see that close up, not very easily. But there's lots of swarf in the there's little bits of filament wire, if you can just see those inside that Higgs bolt hole. So I'll probably need to brush all these down and clean them up. Anyway, so there's a good couple hundred grams of parts there. Now I did originally look at getting this printed with a professional 3D printer from the university. Basically we worked it out that it was going to take, to print a few hundred grams of parts, it was going to take a few hundred grams of actual plastic and then probably half a kilogram of filler material, and basically if you get like a pro, if you're looking at a £40,000 3D printer, or $40,000 3D printer really, the print cartridges for that are expensive, and it was going to cost me about £600, which is probably about $1,000 to print those parts. So I said thank you, but no thank you for that. Right, what else have we got? We have electronics parts. One set per kit, parts. Hardware, electronics, large bag, electronic components, one set per kit, large, tick. So in here we've got some switches, we've got some micro switches, USB cable, an SD card, some other little bits and pieces, some crimps, some Molex plugs. Cool, okay. Next, in bubble wrap, we find a knife. So, we've got stuff falling over in the video. So, I'll just open this up. We have the main board for that. These are probably the stepper motor controls. You've got X motor, Y motor, Z motor, extruder motor, power, heated bed, hot end, fan. There's a micro SD card reader. There's a small FPGA. I can't quite see the some sort of Atmel chip. I'm not sure what. Interestingly, one of my colleagues had a look at this morning and was a little bit concerned it was wrapped up in bubble wrap because of electrostatic discharge, which can damage chips. Now, in the end thing, this is actually just attached to the front of the machine, so hopefully it's not going to be that. Hopefully it's going to be shielded in some way, otherwise it's going to get broken pretty damn quick. Knife away. Okay. We have one plug. Standard UK plug. Is it on the board? Is it on there? Is it on the list? Is it on the list? Power cord. One. Tick. Have more USB cables. Oops. PTFE clear heat shrink. Cable tidies, black heat shrink, ribbon cable, Captain tape, one roll, cable ties. So what is this? This must be the... Oh, I didn't tick off the Mezi. The Mezi Electronics one here, which is the main board. I forgot to take that off. Wiring, one set per kit, I assume that's this. Next, we have hardware in a large bag with all items bagged by type. So nice they've named that one. Hardware. Tick. So what have we got in here? We got some roller bearings. We got sorted thing of bearings here. We've got some laser cut wooden parts. These seem to be laser cut MDF. And we've got some tube, which I think is used in the extruder, and some belts, which are used in all the parts. Okay. So, what's next? Got bit of information about the RepRap Pro as a company, and I'm not sure what the oh, they got a QR code on there. Let's do that there if anyone really wants to have a look. If not, you go to reprappro.co.uk, I think, or .com. Reprappro.com. check those guys out. Okey-doke. Moving on, we have hot end. Warning, these parts may be hot. That's always cool. Okay, there's like a little heatsink with a fan. Got bits and pieces, other bits and pieces. Cool. So, hot end. Tick. Right. We have M3 screws and washers and other little bits of fixings. Hundreds of bags. This is a bag full of hundreds of bags of other stuff. I think this probably goes into fixings. Oh, fasteners, there we go. This whole wee section here. Tick. Right, we have, next up, one AC power adapter. Not really much more to say about that, really. Nope, I haven't got anything. Power adapter, where are we? Power adapter. Power supply, Tick. Right, we have some threaded rod and some threaded bar. No, sorry, we have some threaded rod and some ground bar. So these form the sort of the body of it, and we get ticked off. Oh, my screensaver's just come on. What does that mean? Okay, we're at the 10-minute mark. I'm just going to break the video and save just in case. Right, and we're back. We've got, we just hit the threaded rod and ground bar, so that's ticked off. What else we got left? We have hot bed, or the heat bed plate, stepper motors, and hardware's ticked off. So, next we have, I've already unpacked those, and they're back in the box. This, which I assume is a measuring jig, it has lengths in millimeters, I think. So, because there you go. I've not quite got the hang of this yet. There we go. So that looks like a little laser cut bit of MDF for measuring the lengths of the different bars. So I will keep that safe. Oh, okay. Next we have stepper motors. That's fine for these. It's quite small. They look, well, they look like stepper motors. I mean, there's not really much to say about them. Quite a nice fine click on them. These have 4 wires, which I seem to think means they're unipolar, but I don't know. I'm not a stepper motor expert. I'm probably going to have to read a lot about this. One of the reasons why I've picked a kit for this is because I can basically just put it together and learn on the way rather than having to assemble all the parts from scratch. I think for the price that's going to be worth it. Right, we have some copper tape, which I think must be the Kapton tape they were talking about. I'm not really sure. So let's just put that back in the box and assume that that's what that is. And finally, we have a heat bed. So what have we got? We have lots of stuff all taped together. I assume this probably gets bolted at some point. There are bolt holes, as you can see in the top here. Yep. And it looks like I'm going to have to do some soldering. There's some sort of solder part on the PCB there. So cool. Okay, we're going to do some soldering. And that is that, I think. We've got a heat bed plate. We have the stepper motors. So, filament, check. Hardware, check. Heat bed plate, check. Stepper motors, check. Power supply, check. Wire, check. Hot end, check. Hardware, check. Electronics in a large bag, check. The Mesi electronics is the circuit board, check. Printed parts in a bag, check. And a power cord, check. And then we have this whole big chunk of nuts, bolts, washers, split washers, nylon nuts, self-tapping posi pan screws. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I've got the instructions. I'm going to keep recording stuff as I'm working. We're probably going to break it up into different videos. So what I'll do is I'll record a bit of an outro. We'll have this as an unboxing. And we'll move on to the next video, which will be I'm building the first part, which off the top of my head I can't remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and read the instructions and have a coffee and have some dinner, and then get back to you. So brilliant. Thanks very much for watching. This is Lars for the End of the World We Know It blog, and this is video number 1 in our RepRap Huxley build along series. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck out there.